Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my happy place, also known as my sewing room. And today is Friday, November 5th, 2021. And I'm happy to be back with you on a virtual quilt market. So 6 months ago, I filmed my spring international quilt market, and we did that virtually. Because of all the happenings in the world, we're doing a lot of virtual things online, introducing our fabrics now. And so now it's time for fall quilt market. And so I'll be doing the same thing. And I must say that I really enjoyed that. I enjoy showing you things on my storyboards here that normally just show to quilt shop owners. And so this way I can show quilt shop owners and also their clients, their customers, so that they can see what's coming as well. And then you can talk to your owners and ask them to get things in, ask them if they've ordered things. And I've had a really good amount of positive feedback from those of you who are not quilt shop owners, really enjoying the things, you know, being able to sneak peek the things as well. And so a lot of these newer things have been shown on other websites as well. Riley Blake's virtual quilt market will be next week, but we have been showing the storyboards for a while now. But it's also nice, and this is what I've heard from you, to hear from the designer themselves and to hear what we, you know, what inspired us to design our fabrics and our collections and just talk about each thing. So this is what I'll be talking to you about today is 6 storyboards. 3 of them have already shown to you, and those are, I've already shown you Stitch in my last market, virtual quilt market, and my happy place, and Cookbook. But I'm going to be talking about the progress on these, the things that have come in, showing you things and talking to you about different things, and giving you lots of sneak peeks of Cookbook that's coming in December. And then I will be showing you, after that, I will be talking to you about my new basics collection, which is called Bee Plaids, that will be coming in March of next year. And my chunky thread, which I've kind of talked to you about as well, but I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then finally Prairie. Super excited to tell you all about that and show you everything that's in here, as well as some other things. And so that's what I will be doing in Fall International Quilt Market virtually. Okay, so let's start with Stitch. So we are right in the middle. Cass, can you hand me that of my Happy Place sew along? Okay, and so I thought I would show you the progress with that. So here we are with the binder. Here's the sew along, and here's our schedule right here. And so I just thought that it would be nice to be able to show you, just give you a peek of all the blocks that we have done so far in Stitch, and then show you a few other things that are just hitting the quilt shops as far as notions and things and fabric kits now. So let's see. Okay, I'm pointing to Cass because I said that over there. Okay, here we go. Thanks, sis. All right, I'm going to show you these as best I can, even though some are small, some are large. But this is what we did on the first week of the Stitch sew along, and that's the tomato pin cushions. And so I've got that as a tutorial here on my channel. And then we've done the sewing scissors blocks. I'm going to start appliquing these pretty soon. We're almost nearing the end. It's not too late to join in on the sew along, and you can do a Google search to see what quilt shops have any kits left. But we are, you know, halfway in, a little over halfway in, and so now's the time when I need to get these blocks appliqued. But for right now, I've just been making them and doing tutorials. So this is the knitting block. Probably should get a bigger design board for these, but to show you, these are the crochet hooks. This is the embroidery scissors, and they're cute little scissor sheaths. These are the quilt blocks that we have sewn so far to go into the quilt. So these are numbered, but I don't want to say their numbers in case I mess one up, but I'll just show you the blocks so that we get a peek of each one of them. I need to get that thread off of there. Every once in a while on my design boards, I'll take like a lint roller or some duct tape or something and lift that off. Looks like I need to do that on this one. Okay, so there's the last pieced one that we have done so far. Now this is the cross stitch block that I showed you in my last virtual quilt market for the spring virtual quilt market. I gave a lot of information about each fabric and talked about each piece, and I was happy to introduce this piece of fabric here that we were going to actually cross stitch on, and so that's how that block turned out. Now this is pretty big, so I don't think you can see this in the whole screen, but this is the applique block, so I'll just kind of move it around a little bit so you can sort of, you know, get the idea on that. And this is the spools block. This one's pieced, not appliqued. Here we have the crochet block, well no, not the crochet block, the yarn block. So these are little skeins of chunky thread. Or they could be red heart yarn. You know, growing up, my grandma always crocheted with red heart yarn, and she always had that, you know, they always had the red heart on the label. I'm assuming they still do. I haven't bought red heart for a while, but I'm assuming they still have that. This is the floss block. So this is what's coming up. So it's kind of a little sneak peek because I'm working a week ahead of you so that I can, you know, do the tutorials. And this is the needle book. See, so here's the outside of the needle book, here's the pages, and here's what you've got inside. Now this is a real big one. This is the sewing machine block. This was all machine pieced. I do have the tutorial and the free PDF download on making this sewing machine block. And then these are appliqued. This right here is appliqued on top. And this right here, I don't know if you can see it clear down here, but that's of course another tomato pin cushion. And then this is the fat quarters block, or it could be, you know, pre-cuts. It could be 10-inch stackers, 5-inch stackers block. Really goes like that in the quilt, but just trying to put these back up so they don't get wrinkled. And then this is the ironing block. So I'll just kind of slide it this way because it's a long one. Because then we've got this quilt block here that we did as well, and then I put a little border around it so that it looks like it's sitting on a design board. That's what it looks like. So you're ironing and you've you know, just ironed your block and you've got it laid out here on your design board. And of course the mister bottle. So that's what we have done so far. This is just one of my ironing boards. I'm gonna put that up right and move that out of the way. There we go. And what I wanted to show you, what has just hitting quilt shops on the last little bit now, so I'm excited about these kits that I showed you, that when I showed you stitch and what they were, you know, the kits, what they were going to look like, and what the quilts. Let me find my storyboard so I can show you again what the quilt's going to look like. But this is my tomato pin cushion. Okay, what have I done with my stitch storyboard? There it is. All right. So I always do 2 boxed kits. One uses 10-inch stackers, the quilt, and usually it's a table runner or a pillow or a small quilt, but most of the time I do table runners. And they use 5-inch stackers. So this is the quilt. It's 58 by 70, and that's what's in this box right here. Okay, and it's just called Tomato Pin Cushion Quilt, but I just kind of wanted to show you what it looks like. It's magnetic closure right here. Okay, so it's really nice. So after you make the quilt, they become collectible boxes, and believe me, I use them for my storage, and I stack them on top of each other over there in the corner in my filing cabinets on top so that they look cute. But here we have the pattern in here, and then we have the pre-cuts, and then everything that you need, as well as the background. The only thing we don't have in here is, you know, for the backing. I believe that we always, or if we have vintage trim. Yeah, we always have binding in here so that you have that to match your quilt. But if you wanted to add vintage trim, you could, you know, add that and then just choose whatever backing fabric that you want. But I really like how that, see, and then there's the design all the way around the edges. So there's that tomato pin cushion. And then this is the same thing, only with the 5-inch squares, or 5-inch stackers, as we at Riley Blake call them. And again, so this takes, same thing, so we'll have the pre-cut in here, the pattern. This is spools and bobbin. This is a runner. It's 37 by 65. This is what it looks like right here. So you've got bobbins and spools, and then some of the spools are patchwork and they're extra long. And that's kind of fun. And then we just have, you know, what you need, all of the pieces of fabric that you need. So I think they do a pretty good job stacking those in there. And so the boxes are always the same size around, meaning they will fit the pre-cut, you know, in there. But some of them we make taller if we have to put a little bit more fabric in. But I like to make them the same size around so that they can all stack on top of each other and fit nicely for storage for later. So that's something that's just hitting right now from Stitch, and also my Stitch crafting paper, which I'm really, really excited about. Now, I did tell you about this in my last quilt market video, and tell you that I'm doing a crafting paper pad with all of my fabric collections. And so this is the paper. It's kind of torn apart because I've been using it, but it just has, all of these papers in here from the Stitch collection, and then 2 pages of clip art that you can cut out. Now these are the prototypes, so they have holes in the top, but it doesn't come, this is the real thing, it doesn't come with holes in the top. But I just wanted to show you these. This is the clip art that you get with these papers, and I'm just showing you the prototype because I took mine out and I already cut them out, and I'll show you that in a minute what I've been doing with those. So thought I'd talk about that in just a minute. Okay, let me hand these back to Cass to put back over there on my ironing board so I can show you and talk about my Happy Place stuff. Okay, so since my last quilt market, this has since come out in the quilt shops, and this is the 6 new decorator weights. I've shown you these before, so I'll just go through them real quickly. These are the 6 prints. We have several things going on with these prints and several projects, and they're really fun. And one of them has been, that just came into shops not very long ago, is my Zippy Bag panel. Remember this panel that I talked about last time that has the 4 large project bags, the 4 small project bags, and the tags, and then my happy zippers, 8 happy zippers to go along and coordinate with these. So the panel came out and I did a tutorial on them. Thank you so much for all your kind words and comments on that. I just wanted to show you what the bags turned out like. If you'd like to watch my tutorial, it's the same tutorial that I always use on all of my project bags over the years. But since this is the show and tell segment, I'm going to be showing these again. Now, there are several quilt shops who still have panels and zippers. I know they, you know, thank you so much. They sold very, very well, but that means now there's a shortage of them until they can come back in March. But they definitely are coming back in. They're very reorderable, and quilt shops have reordered them and just are waiting for them, just like we are, to be produced and sent over. And I really am having a fun time with my happy zippers, and I'm happy to know that you are too as well. So here's the large bags, and I talk about my charms and different things like that in more detail in my tutorial. And you know, my crocheted flowers, I have a tutorial here. But if you are one of my subscribers, followers, thank you so much. But you already have, I assume, because you subscribe, have watched my videos as they come out, so you can see the information that I've already given in the tutorials. For those of you who have not, that's why I'm just kind of saying, you know, I have that here available on my channel. Okay, so that's one of the things that have come out with my happy place. Now, the other thing that came out at the same time is my crafting paper pad for my happy place. So here's the paper for that. Okay, loving those. And you can see that they're in a smaller scale, more usable scale than not in the actual fabric. See, this is the actual fabric scale, and here's the paper. So this is going to be fun for all the paper things that I do and that you do. I know so many of you are paper crafters as well. And these are the clip art pages that come with this set right here for my happy place. But what I wanted to show you is these papers. A lot of you, like I just said, are paper crafters, but some of you are not, because you just have not done that yet. You've just been quilting or whatever, and which is great, but I have just always done paper, and that's why I really wanted to do some paper to go with. I do cards, I use them for my sewing room, I do tags, labels, I just do all kinds of things. And my planners is the #1 thing that I use paper for, in my paper pads. So my planner that I have coming out, what I did with that is, that's where all my clip art went that I cut out from. So this is 2 pages, 4 pages, because I did 2 pages from my happy place, and then the 2 pages from the other one, I cut out everything and put in here. So I've got the clip art in here, and what's not in here are the ones that I've already put in my planner. So I just, in my tin here, wanted to show you some of the things that I am using with my planner, with my cards, with my tags. I use my washi tapes, my little tags. I haven't got a little mini stapler here, but I do use that. My Be Organized tags have since come out since we last did a virtual quilt market, and those have just come out. They're new. I just wanted to show you what they look like. I not only use these, there's 2 of each color. So I'll just kind of, so I not only use these to label my fabric baskets or my patterns or my projects or things like that, I also use them in my planner, and I can show you in the future, you know, how I use them in my planner. And I also use them for cross stitch, which I will be showing you in my next floss tube. Now, these are my Flower Power reinforcers. These are for the whole reinforcers, like in your binders or any school binders. You know how you can get the white circle ones, which I've always used because I don't like my holes, you know, there in the notebook pages to wear out. And so this is why I did all these in many colors. Let's see, I think there's another color. And so they're just stickers. They come off like this so that you can put over the notebook hole and that you've punched, or, you know, like that's come pre-punched or whatever, just to reinforce it. And then you can also use this little circle dot as a sticker as well. So those have come out. I have used those in my planner. And hang on, I'll show you what I've done so far in my planner to get ready But I also wanted to talk about why I did clip art and not stickers. I like to do clip art because I like to move things around and design how I want them to go on my pages, my notes, and everything. And once you've stuck a sticker down, like, it's kind of a one and done. And I don't like to do that. So it's just as easy for me to take my scissors and take an hour to cut everything out. I mean, this is two collections worth of my clip art papers. Cut everything out and just stick in there. Now, in the past, before I started doing my papers and my sew-along guides, I always gave you clip art there, so you can go back into your past sew-along guides, for those of you who have followed me in my Sew Simple Shape Sew-Along, and cut out the clip art from there and just put in your box. And that's what I'm using this wonderful collectible box for my planners to keep my clip art in. And then you just use a glue stick. It's easy just to use a glue stick, and you can even buy repositional glue stick so that you can glue it down and you have a little bit to move it around if you didn't really like where you placed it. And then for things like this that come in, I didn't cut these up separately yet. I just thought I would cut around those as I go. So I'm going to show you what I've done in my planner so far. I've just barely started, and this is just, you know, this doesn't start until January, this planner, because it's a 2022 planner, but I do like to get a little bit ahead. And so I just kind of wanted to show you how I've begun to do this. Now, please tell me if you are interested in seeing how I do these things on my pages, and I can do a YouTube tutorial, or, you know, do a series on how I decorate my pages and show you exactly how I do everything, for those of you who are beginner paper crafters, if you'd like to see that. But this one, I just simply did a strip of my washi tape right there, and then I'll be filling my name in. And then here's the 2022, 2023 right here. This is the opening page that says planning for my year. Planning my year, and I will be filling some things in, but I like to pre-decorate by just putting a few things down, and so that I'm ready to go and I can just fill in. And so this is all clip art, this is washi tape, this is paper that I've just cut like this, and I've just used a glue stick to do all of this, and so that I'm ready to fill in. Now these right here are little bullet point stickers. This says special dates to remember. And so I've kind of stuck these down. These are, again, remember, from the center of the flowers here. I've just stuck those down so that I can start listing my bullet points there for listing. And again, paper for that one, clip art. And you can just go this simple. You can keep adding more. I like to just lay it out like this, and then I'm ready to fill in. And all I've done on these two pages so far is I used a round circle punch and punched out a circle from my paper, cut it in half, and put that there just to add a little bit of attention to what's going on up there, so I can start to fill that out or finish decorating if I want. I just simply put some washi tape there. And this is the whole calendar of January that you can see all at once, and then it moves in to notes, and I took two of my washi tapes here, another washi tape here, and then this is from my clip art. This is one of my little button cards, and I actually glued with little glue dots that you can get on the scrapbooking aisle. Little glue dots, and glued my little buttons on there, which is, you know, they're not very thick at all, and it's just going to be fine. And so then here's my different lists that I have, and now as the header of each month, and then I move on to a detailed list of every day. And I haven't got this far yet. That's as far as I did. I just did this in a couple hours as I was, you know, I cut out all of this and decorated all of this within a couple hours. And that's all you need to do, is just glue it down. And I do spend a lot of time in my planner. Each month is the calendar is colored differently. You can see with the tabs. And so, and then the little honeycomb, we go back in to start over again. We've got 6 colors. And then on the bottom, we've got the honeycomb. So I'm super excited about that. I'm really, really excited that this paper, these craft paper pads that I'm doing through Riley Blake, are going to be really fun to decorate my planner and to keep me going, because I'm definitely a planner girl. And I have several pages of notes in the back as well. So let me know on that if you'd like me to show you how I do that. And I'd be happy to, if I have, you know, if you guys are interested in knowing how I'm going to be using my crafting paper, and not just for my planners, but for making tags, note cards, gifts, you know, things like that, that I do with paper. If you're interested in that, I sure would be happy to show you how I do that and give you some very simple tips and tricks on how you do it to just, you know, have an afternoon of fun playing with paper. It's not anything that takes up a lot of my time. I actually find that I save a lot of time by using my planner and planning things out. And again, I'll say it again, my motto is, if you have to do something, you might as well do it cute. So that's how I am with my planners. I like to do that with them, and you know, do some fun things there. All right, so I'm going to clear all this stuff off of the tables and bring in more things to show you. So I will be right back. All right, so now I'm back and I've gathered all things that I have so far for Cookbook. Okay, can I just tell you how excited I am for Cookbook? Yay. All right, so I have got some pre-yardage to show you. And I've got some notions to show you that I have so far, but let's talk about the pre-yardage and the kit and the sew along. So I know that I talked to you in the last spring market about what was to come, and now I'm happy to show you that the things that I have so far. Now this is coming in December, which is next month, and this is the quilt that we're doing that's on the cover of the sew along guide. Okay, it's called Chicken Salad. It's 64 by 80, and there's 12 blocks on it that finish at 12 inches. Okay, and so how I did this collection is what it calls for the quilt is a fat quarter bundle, and then within this fat quarter bundle is all of the fabrics that you need for the border and all of the appliques, in addition to this, which is from my Bee cross stitch. I'm throwing that into the kit because that's what we're using for all of the legs and the beaks. Okay, so that's thrown in. And then yardage of the background fabric. Now, of course, there is a fat quarter of this background fabric that comes in the bundle, but you know, we obviously need more than that. And I believe we call for 1 3/4 yards or 2 yards of background for this, but of course it's in a storyboard and all the quilt shops know and everything. I'm just off the top of my head. And then the binding, and then of course the backing fabric. Now I do have pre-yardage. I've put it over there, sis, if you want to hand me those. I do have, well, I shouldn't say pre-yardage, these are strike-offs. I don't have pre-yardage of this yet, but this is backing fabric, the wide back. That is strike-offs that I approved. So meaning, you know, I get strike-offs back 2 or 3 times until I'm happy with the colors and all that, and I'm happy, super happy with these. So these are the 3 different 108-inch 100% cotton wide backs that I'm excited about as well. And you can see on the paper that I put that I'm going to be using this one for the back of my quilt, but obviously any of these 3 would work. And so I just wanted to show you those wide backs. I can't wait. I keep looking at this one going, I want to make, I probably told you this before, but I want to make tablecloths for the 4th of July for in my backyard. There's lots of stuff I want to do with that. All right, so that's what that looks like. But so your quilt shops have these kits on pre-order now. So all you have to do is Google search Chicken Salad Quilt or Cookbook Sew Along or something like that, and you can find what you need. Now these are the Sew Simple shapes. Of course, I already started using them, so I'll show you that in a minute, but this is the header. This is the chicken salad. 36 templates are in there of the Sew Simple shapes. And what I wanted to tell you about this is I'm pretty excited because when I have something else going on for this sew along that I wanted to tell you about. So I planned this from the start because when I designed this quilt, I love this kitchen fabric so much that I just thought any kitchen quilt will work in these fabrics because they're vintage that would match my kitchen, because I have a vintage kitchen. And so I'm just thinking I can use these fabrics for a long time for a lot of kitchen things. And so I love this quilt, can't wait to hang this over the bench in my kitchen. But because for those of you who have followed me and known me and sewn from my books, you know that in my books, let's see, I have Farm Girl Vintage 1 right here, Farm Girl Vintage 2, my Vintage Christmas, and my Spelling Bee. Now these aren't all my books, but these are my 4 books that I have in common, that I have 6-inch and 12-inch blocks, meaning each block in the book has cutting instructions to either make it in a 6-inch size or a 12-inch size. So because I love vintage kitchen things, you know, throughout these books, I have a lot of blocks that have to do with kitchen items, okay? So what I'm going to be doing during the sew along is not only sewing a chicken block, but I'm going to be using this exact same kit. So I'm going to get double kits because I'm going to make 2 quilts. I'm going to make the chicken salad quilt, and I'm going to take the other kit that is used for chicken salad and make the exact same quilt, except for I'm going to be using pieced blocks from my books, the 12-inch size. And I'm going to be choosing 12 blocks that fit in there, and then I'll be making 1 block a week, just like I'll be making 1 block a week for my chicken, and I will be revealing that each week, what I am making, which block out of which book, and then showing you the prints that I used that week. And so I think that'll be really fun. So I'm inviting those of you who are not applicators to join in with this sew along and use the kit for the 12-inch piece blocks. And for those of you who are applicators and want to do this chicken quilt, and I know there's a lot of you out there because so many of you have reached out to me and told me how excited you were, and thank you so much. I love chickens and I love chicken quilts. So obviously I, of course, am going to be doing this and putting it in my kitchen. But for those of you who only like to applique, then there's that for you. And for those of you who like to do both, you're welcome to join in with me and do both as well, whichever you want to do. But I just wanted to let you know that that is an option. And I haven't sewn any of the blocks to go in here for that for my book. So I'm thinking that 2 yards of background will probably be plenty. So I don't know, I might order another yard of this background just to make sure that I have enough, you know, to cover the piece blocks. But I know that it's enough for the applique because obviously that, you know, it all works out. And just for you quilt shop owners, just to let you know that I have done all of the math and everything, and the kit that we called for is working out perfectly for this quilt, so we don't have to worry about that. And I couldn't wait, so I actually used some of my pre-yardage and got started on making a few of these blocks, just so that I just wanted to make them and I just wanted to show you. So this is Percy. Okay, and this is exactly what he's going to look like in the quilt. Of course, he'll be appliqued. I just made these this week, and this is Hattie. That's how they look like together, if you can even see them together in the screen. But look how cute they are. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And so this is what this fabric is for. It's for their feet and their beaks, and we just used the 1/4 inch bias tape maker for that. Even though they're not cut on the bias, we still use the bias tape maker. So those are 2 of the chickens. You can see the chickens here, and of course, you know, I named them because I told you that last time. So we're going to go through them again just to show you. This is Prudence. This is Beatrice. Cornelius. This is Hank. This is Hattie, who you just saw right there. And here's Henrietta on her nest of eggs. This is Myrtle, Penny, Percy. Give you another look at Percy again. And then we've got Florence, Pearl, and Edna. I cannot wait to make these 12 chickens. This is going to be really fun. So I just hope you like that sneak peek. And you can see a little bit of my fabric, pre-yardage, because I've been using it, but I'm going to pull that in and show you, so because I don't want to undo this. I always save a fat quarter bundle of my fabric just to save it and pet it and keep it. So I don't want to open that to show you, but I will show you my cookbook prints. I have a yard or so of each one of them. And so these are, oh, you know what? Cass, hand me the picture of the quilt back right there. Yeah. So what I wanted to tell you is I did a lot of light colored prints, such as these that I'm going to show you, that go in the borders around here, and then the darker colors. Okay, I shouldn't have put my fat quarter bundle out of the way. This is the best way to show you. So you can see the side view. See all of these light ones? Most of these are light. You can just pick out the ones that are more saturated. When I say dark and light, that's what I mean. There's just not as much cloud background in them. And those are the ones that I used for the roosters and the hens and all the baby chicks and everything, so that they show up on the background. And then I used all these lighter colored ones around in the background, and I think that's why it's going to work out so well for the piece blocks too. So I'm going to show you the ones first that go in the background. So that's one of the prints. Okay, I'm going to have you tell me, Cass, what's centered, and then I'll just put them all on top of each other right there. Okay, there's that one. So this one only comes in one colorway. Okay, so maybe I should open that and show you, because it's got quite a large repeat. Look at all that fun vintage kitchen stuff. And you know what, I need my storyboard again, because I want to tell you the wrong name, but I believe this one's called Wallpaper. I'm going to have this opened up here just so I can tell you the print names. Yes, this is called Wallpaper. So this was really fun, and I just want to make kitchen curtains out of this, and I think that would be awesome. So that's what I'm going to do. I not only want to, but I'm actually going to do it in all my spare time, huh? But I'm going to do it. Okay, and then this one is called, like I say, on the top of my head, I think I know what it is, but I don't want to say it wrong. So this one is the luncheon print. That comes in these two colors right here. Let me just put that over there. Okay, so I made this so that it is not directional. So you can see that they go different directions. So that's always good. I try to do that a lot, but you know, I only do that when it makes the fabric look good. If it doesn't look good being going either direction, then I make it directional. Okay, so this is cherries. Without even looking at my storyboard, I know what that's called. And this is fruit. Every time I look at these prints, I'm just reminded of my grandmas and my aunts. I'm so excited to have all of this in my kitchen. And I believe this one is called Dinner. Yeah. This is what I meant by directional. So this one is directional. It just didn't look right to have the utensils and the pots hanging and the pot holders and things hanging upside down on some of them and right side up on the other. So that's a directional print. And I do enjoy a good directional print. These are just called Floral, Cookbook Floral. And again, all of these go in the border, including these two prints, which is called Dishes. And I don't know, again, I keep wanting to turn this around because this is when I was deciding whether it was going to go directional, and then I ended up not making it directional. And of course I've got roosters. And I believe this one's called Breakfast. Yes. This one's called Stamps, because each of these individual, I put a little border around these and it reminded me of little stamp borders. And so that's going to be really fun to use those. And then this is called Kitchen Window, I believe. Yeah, this is Kitchen Window. And this is another one of the prints that I made directional because I did not want upside down windows. I didn't want the dishes to fall off the window sills. So there's that. So these are all of the prints that are within the borders of the quilt. And then these are the prints that make up the appliques or the blocks. So I normally do 2 of each design in different colors, but sometimes I like to pick one design and do 4. And so this one, it's called Bubbles, and it comes in 4 colors. It's very versatile, it has a lot of colors in each one, and I like how it looks with all of the solids and all the lights, and it's going to work very well with a lot of different projects, and so that's why I chose to do 4. And I like that it's a medium tone, so I did the same thing with these in 4 other colors that weren't in those colors, so that I would have 8 colors of medium tones. And this is kitchen tile. I love the feel of these fabrics. Riley Blake, thank you so much for making exceptional, beautiful fabric. I'm so happy to be a Riley Blake designer and be part of the virtual quilt market. These 2 are called Blossom. Always have to have a cute little daisy in there. These 2 right here are called Ring Toss. Then I've got one more stack. These are Linoleum right here. These are Mums. Love these prints. I wanted these to look very old-fashioned, like an apron that my grandma would have worn or something. And these are just called Vintage because it's just an old vintage print, and that I love. I love the quirkiness of it, the pretty little floral and the soft colors, and I love this in Pebble. It's very nice. I'm really happy with how all of the prints turned out. These are tulips. This is what's for the binding for the quilt, but again, you could use any binding if you want. And then of course this is the cherry turnover, which is the background. Okay, so that's the sneak peek at all the cookbook fabric that's coming in December. Now, of course, when I say fabric, I will have panels that are coming in December, and these are the 3 apron panels that I've shown you, and they come with a bonus quilt block, and these are all on decorator weight, and as soon as they come in, and along with the double fold bias tape that goes with them, I'll be doing a tutorial here on my blog on how to make this apron. And then also coming in December with the fabric are the dish towel panels that are on decorator weight as well. And that's 2 panels, so that's 8 dish towels. And then I have this cookbook hot pads and casserole carrier panel right here. So this is the back and the front of the casserole carrier. And then these are 2 hot pads. These are 2 hot pads. These are hot pads for the handles of your pans. And then these are little micro mitts, you know, little hot pads for your fingers for the microwave. So I'll be doing a tutorial here on my blog on my YouTube channel here, not on my blog, on how to do those. And the sew along for chicken salad starts in January, so all the fabric comes in December, and we're on track for that. And the sew along starts January 31st, which is a Monday, Now, for those of you who may be new to my sew-alongs, I always do the first Monday of every month. I do what I call my Be Prepared blog post on my blog. And that's the first Monday of January. I'll be doing that. And I just go through and talk about the notions, talk about the kit, talk about the sew-along, just give you all the information that you need to know. And hopefully by then you have your kit, and you just need to download the sew-along guide, which is released the first Monday of that month in the same blog post. I give the link to that in my blog, to link to Riley Blake Designs website to release the sew-along guide. So that is always released the first Monday of the month that the sew-along begins. And so that's what will be happening with the chicken salad. And then I'll be talking more about, you know, doing the sew-along with my books and things like that with the quilt blocks. Now I've got this is the quilt that comes in the 10-inch boxes. Let's see, I've got a bigger picture of that to show you. I pulled that out. So this is the one that comes in the 10-inch size box with the stackers. This is what the box looks like. This is what the quilt looks like. Here's a little bit larger picture. And then I'll be using one of the other wide backs for the back of that, the one I want to do my 4th of July tablecloths out of. And that takes this double triangle ruler that will be out in December as well. I don't have the ruler to show you, but this is the actual size. This is the printout of the actual size, so I thought I could at least show you that. And these are 5-inch stacker and 10-inch stacker friendly rulers. And I'll be making a lot of other projects out of that as well. And then for the kit, that's what the box looks like for Grandma's Luncheon Runner. And this takes the 5-inch stackers. And then I'll be using the remaining wide back for that, which does look like a vintage tablecloth to me. So I think that'll be fun. That will make it the runner reversible, right? So let's see, I just wanted to go through and show you what I've got so far. Okay, so I do have this. I can show you. Some of these I have. A few of these have been starting to come into quilt shops already. So here is the Cookbook crafting paper. So let's just leaf through this paper that goes with Cookbook. And these are the two clip art pages. I can't wait to tell you about what I'm going to do with these. I'm sure I told you in my last spring market video, but now I can really explain more having the actual thing in my hands. So this, of course, is the binder. This is what it looks like. Okay, it's the Cookbook Beekeeper binder. And I love these big rings. I prefer to have these big rings so that I can put a lot of things in there, especially for what I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with this. I'm obviously going to use it for the sew-along, for my sew-along guide, and to keep track of my blocks and what I'm doing from my books and things like that. So that'll come in really handy. But I'm going to get another and use it to make a recipe scrapbook, binder, whatever you want to call it, for my kitchen. And the reason that I am making 8.5 by 11 paper for my crafting paper pads is because that's what the binder fits, number one. Bless you. And that's what the binder fits, number one. And all you have to do is just get a 3-hole punch and it goes right in the binder. And I've also got, with Cookbook Collection, these coming out because I knew I was going to do this, is my binder dividers, Cookbook binder dividers. So, because when you're doing a recipe book or any kind of a cookbook, then you need dividers, and you can decide what you want to fill in these. So let's just open that up. They come pre-punched already, just like you would if you had a 3-hole punch. And this is where I would put my, these are cardstock, so they're really nice and, you know, heavy like that. But they have a different print on the other side. But I thought on each divider, I thought it would be really fun to use my clip art, or, you know, to do other things with them. And you can either, wait, I just noticed something. Okay, yeah, that was right. I've been playing with them earlier, so I thought I put 2 out of order, but no, they're all in order. Okay, so I thought it would be fun to decorate the pages here, and then I can use this paper to, you know, I can either handwrite or I can type on my vintage typewriter out the recipe, or I can print it off on just regular white cardstock and a little bit smaller piece of paper and put it on here, put this in a 3-ring punch and put it in there for the pages. So I'm going to be doing that, going to be doing the clip art, using my flower power reinforcers. I'm really going to be having fun with this and doing family recipes. And once again, if you would like to join me in doing this, then let me know and I will do a YouTube series and do 2 or 3 videos and show you how to do this, and we can make it together and you can do your own family recipes in here, or just collect favorite recipes off the internet, Pinterest, or whatever. They don't have to be family. We just happen to have a lot of good family recipes, and so that's what we're going to do with ours. And so that's okay. Let me slide this out of the way so I can have room. I still have a lot more to show you, believe it or not. So that's about that. That's what those are. And then I've got my little tray I'm going to pull in here. I've got some things on here because I've got this. This is my grocery lister. I love this. You know, I've done my little other notebook that's like this that has a little basket on it that I did for Prim. But I really wanted to do a little Kiss the Cook with the potbelly stove on there. Both of my grandmas had plaques in their kitchen that said Kiss the Cook. And so this one I'm going to be using for my grocery lister, or just maybe even things as I'm doing my recipe binder that I'm going to have to check off things that I need, recipes that I've done, things like that. I really love a lister notebook. So that's the prototype for that. And so that's there. Okay, the Be Sweet treat cups. They come in 5 colors right here. Right now I've got 3 colors to show you, but this is the packaging. Look how cute. There's so many things you can do besides actually make cupcakes or muffins in here, but there's all kinds of crafts on Pinterest and things like that. And I just love the packaging in this box and the little see-through window. But here's 3 of the colors right here. But this is just what they look like, these cute treat cups. Let me separate them just so you can kind of see the inside. See, that's what the inside looks like, just regular baking cups. But I've seen them, one thing I've done before too for a birthday party a long time ago when Cass was a little girl, is I took the Christmas tree lights, just the little mini clear lights with the white cord, and I remember I poked holes in here. And I did put the little round paper reinforcers there. I poked holes in there and I put a paper on each light and then hung it up for a garland. And it was just the prettiest little garland with lights in it for a birthday party. That was really fun. So you can do that. All right, so what's next? Okay, I do not have these to show you, but these are my project tins. The same sizes, the large and the small. They're in the exact same sizes as my ones from Stitch. Okay, but I do have these canisters to show you, which I'm pretty excited about. And thanks, sis. So here's the large one. Okay, that's what the canisters look like, size-wise. And then let me just unstack them, or I mean, you can stack them. This is now the medium-sized one. Here's the small with the roosters on it. I'm going to have fun with these. I'm going to have fun in my sewing room with these, putting them in my kitchen, and they're going to go right on the countertop in my trailer as well. Well, Sorry, shouldn't have dropped that. Okay, so I've got those. I can show you coasters. I'm just going through the whole thing so I don't forget anything. So here's the Cookbook coasters. They always come in this cute little box with the little see-through window. I try to use those as often as I can so that you can see what's in there. These are very nice coasters. These are the same ones that I've used, either square or circle with the cork on the back. I really like them. I use them all the time when I can wipe off the tops. And I love how those look. And of course, I've designed a cookbook, so I've got to have kitchen coasters, right? So then what we've got next here showing is the tin mug. The tin mug that I always have to match my collections. This is what the box looks like. Let me take the mug out. This one has Hattie. It says Rise and Shine, and it has, I don't know, where's my list of roosters, and I'll tell you which one he is. I can't remember his name. Oh, this is Cornelius. See, up there in the corner. So that's Hattie and Cornelius in my mug, and it matches all the other ones. These I do know are in quilt shops now. These came in early, so they're starting to trickle in, but these are my charms. And look at that rooster. Love it, love it, love it. There's the rooster. There's the strawberry. And there's the little tea kettle. These are so fun. Super happy with those. And then the tray is next here, and that's what all of this is sitting on. So I'll show you that after I have all the stuff off. The Bee Sweet treat bags, I do have. Hey, they're not in their package because I took them out, but this is what they're going to look like. Okay, this is the size that they're going to be. This is the header, this is the back. So there's 6 different designs in here, but there's 2 of each design. So this is what they look like. So they're a really nice paper. I mean, obviously you could rip it because it's paper, but it would be hard to rip it. It's very nice, but look at the little lunch sack gusset on the bottom, kind of like, but I wanted them as snack bags, or I wanted them so that quilt shops out there can use them to kit up blocks if you're doing blocks of the month or things like that with Cookbook or little kits, or I just think that's really fun that you can do little kits. These are great for treats. You can use the washi tape to close them up. You can use these, which I'll show you in a minute, to close them up. You can just fold these over and label them. But these are the bags. Love the size. These are really fun. Okay, that's all the designs. I don't know, should I flip through those again? I think I was out of the camera. I'll just do it one more time. Those are the 6 different ones. And I'm just tweaking a few of the colors on those, but they'll be good to go. Those are the treat bags. And what's next is these that I just said I was going to talk about. So these will fit, as pictured here, in the lid of a wide mouth mason jar. So you can write in there what you've canned or what recipe it is or whatever you're storing in there, or you can put them on the sides of the jar. But you can also use them for a treat bag, fold over the bag and use this as a label, and you can put like what kind of cookie or the person's name on here. It would really be cute for a party at a place card or a luncheon to use for their place card. Close a treat bag and put their little treat in there. So these are really going to be fun. I'm going to use these for a lot of things because I use canning jars for a lot of things. So I know I'll be using those. And I haven't got my heat resistant batting yet, but it's in the store, it's in the shops, but I don't have one in my hands right now that I can show you. But that's what I'll be using for the panels. It's got the the silver stuff on one side and then batting on the other side, and it's already quilted, and that's what I'll be using for like my hot pads and things like that for the tutorials. Now here's the cute lunch box. That's what this looks like. Oh, got stuff in it. I'm already using it. So there's the lunch box. And I showed you the picture of the rulers. Here's the washi tape. That's what this looks like. I believe this is in shops now as well. Just getting there. So those are the 4 washi tapes. This one, because you know how washi tape is always see-through, like a little bit. I'm gonna grab a piece of paper out of my notebook here. And my other lister. There's my other lister I was just telling you about. I have my notes in it. But just wanted to show you what it looks like out on paper. So this will be fun. For my planner, definitely will be using this for my recipe book, for my family recipe book that I'm doing. There's that one. And then I do these different widths. Some I like wider and narrower. There's this one. And again, I use these to put my Seam So Easy guides on my machine. I use them for my light box when I'm tracing. I use washi tape a lot, not just for decoration, but for useful purposes as well. And that's what those look like on there. And then look what we've got here. Remember how I showed you last time? Let's see, I pulled these out so I could show you again how I use these. So I packaged them this way so you could use them for bookmarks. So again, these are some from the past collections, and I had the little hole put there, so all I have to do is just trim that off, and now you've got that for a little bookmark too. Or you can cut around them and use them for in the recipe book or whatever. So I like to use my packaging for a lot of stuff. When I'm finished with my packaging, like instead of throwing this away, I'll take this apart and I will cut this part out, and I'll use it in my recipe binder as part of the decoration and stuff like that. I just kind of like to do that. So just a heads up on that. All right. Is that really the last page? Nope, that's not the last page. Okay, here's my readers down here. I don't have the case yet, but I do have the readers. They're in now. They're in shops, and these are the 3.0 or whatever you want to call it strength. So look how cute those are. Those pink ones. Love them. Here is the calendar. Of course, that came in a while ago because we like to get our calendars in early. This is the chicken salad calendar. So it has one block in each one. And look, I even have in the calendar pre-printed when our sew-alongs start. All through the year. I have 4 different things printed in here. And besides just the holidays that I had on my iPhone or whatever, you know, that's what I put in. But any sew-alongs that I have this Farmhouse Star sew-along starting in April 25th. And so I have that written down there, and I'll show you that in my next segment here. I'm about finished with this one. The last thing I have to show you is, of course I don't have these yet, but they'll be coming in with the fabric on all the sizes of design boards, is the tray. And I've had this tray for quite a while, this prototype, and I've been using it in my sewing room a lot. And I really like it, this little melamine tray. And so that's the last I have to show you on Cookbook. Hope you're excited about that. I can't believe it's already November, meaning December, it's coming. And like I said, a lot of the stuff is starting to trickle in. So thank you, Quilt Shops, for the support on those collections that have been coming in. Really, really appreciate you, and I appreciate you customers as well supporting your quilt shops. So I will be right back, and I will talk about Prairie. and I'm super excited to tell you all about that. Okay, I'm excited to talk to you about my newest collection called Prairie, which I actually have had designed for quite a while. I had several prints of them designed, and this is just the right time to have it come out. And so this is my storyboard. And so I'm just going to go ahead and read on the back what about the line. See, we always have on the back of the storyboard. It says, Lori Holt's newest designer fabric collection, Prairie, is dedicated to her pioneer ancestors and the journey that they endured crossing the plains. Lori hopes to remember and honor her ancestors well, from their courage and integrity to their handmade bonnets and quilts made with precious fabrics carefully brought with them to their new homes on the prairie out west. This nostalgic collection features a range of beautiful prairie-inspired prints, reminiscent of similar days. Lori hopes this collection reminds you of home, and as Laura Ingalls Wilder once said, home is the nicest word there is. And so, yes, this is definitely a huge collection that I designed. Well, I shouldn't say huge collection. It's as big as my, collections have been. But it's a huge nod to my ancestors, my husband's ancestors as well. Most of them crossed the plains and came out here in the West to find their new homes on the prairie. And, of course, a nod to Laura Ingalls Wilder and Little House on the Prairie as well, and anything prairie. So with this collection, it's very traditional fabrics with a touch of whimsy to them as well, which is what I like to do. And you can see that I've designed a lot of prints that I was picturing my great-great-great-grandmothers wearing. Had dresses, bonnets, sewing with. And so this is kind of what the fabrics are. Let me show you each individual fabric first, and then I will go through the notions. So with this, I designed 8 shirting fabrics, 8 different ones right here. This is what they all look like together, and I'll tell you the names of these as we go along. And then this is what all kind of a small swatch card that I always ask Colleen to make for me. Colleen is one of the the digital artists at Riley Blake Designs. And so I always have her make a swatch card for me because they help me in my designing of my quilts and things like this. It's nice to have, before I have the fabric, just like a little piece of each fabric together so that I can see them. And then I'm going to show you what each individual one looks like. And then I'm going to open this up so I can tell you the name of each print. And of course, within the storyboard, they have the SKUs right here and the name of each one. And so this one right here is called Prairie Wagon. This one is called Mercantile. This one is Pinafore. This is Keepsake. This is Creek. This is called Dumplings. This one's called Family. And this one's called Fiddle. Now these are the 2 wide backs that I did for the collection. I just did 2 wide backs because I felt like that's, just both of these colorways was exactly what I wanted for Prairie. All of these prairie flowers intertwined. And I just think they're lovely, and I'm excited to work with those. All right, so let's go through the prints here. This one is called Mercantile, and it's in teal, and this one's also Mercantile, and it's in a new color that I have that I'm introducing in this line called Cider. So this is Cider, and then I've got these two that are called Patchwork, Prairie Patchwork. All right, these two, let me tell you the names of these. This is called Sampler. These kind of little ticking stripes with little flowers that kind of look like little samplers, so that's why I called it Sampler. And these two are called Wildflowers. And yes, I'm using plum colors in this collection because I really could not do a prairie collection that was about prairie flowers and things like that without using plum. And I love this. These are the shades of purple that I love. And so I'm adding these, you know, into this collection. These are also called Keepsake because I have one of the feed sacks is out of this print as well. And let's see, let's turn this page so I can see these two are called Memories. These two right here, let's see, I think they must be on the other page. These two prints are called Pioneer. Of course, I named all of these fabrics with names that had to do with the prairie or my ancestors or heritage and things like that. And so they're all so close that I don't want to just say them off the top of my head. I want to make sure that I'm telling you the correct one. And so these are called Prairie Rose. These two right here are called Preserves. These two right here are called Heritage. And then we've got Calico. You can see that I've introduced several new colors, several new of my happy colors to go in this collection. And they still go with all of my other fabric collections, but these just have a little bit more traditional colors to them. These are called Cabin. And then these two are called Prairie Dress. And then of course I've done ticking several times, but I added ticking, 4 different ones in this collection, and that's what this is called, Prairie Ticking. And these are just the same tickings that I used in my Prim collection, but just colored differently. And I especially had to add this color in here, which is called Chestnut, because it looks like the log cabin. You know, the chinking in the logs, to me, anyway. So I've got 4 of those, and I've got 4 of these as well. And I have called these Bonnet. And then I've got 2 of these, which are called Fiddle. And again, I have a shirting in those. And then these 2, which are called, Family. And then I've got these last 4 right here. There are 4 of the same right here, and it's called Homespun. So that's all of the close-ups of the fabric. These are actual scale that I have printed off. And I love having that to help me design my quilt. So that's what I do first, is I have designed this fabric first, like I say, and had my quilts sketched up, and then went from there. So I do have one other piece. Let's see, I did show you my wide bags, but I forgot. I do have a cheater cloth. It looks like this. This is actual scale, and it's called Very Prairie. And so it's got quite a large repeat, but on the storyboard, you know, we can only show you this much, but this is how much the repeat is, how big meaning all the different colors and different prints that are in there. And so I set that there. So that's, I've kind of copied off some of them so you can see the different placement in those. That's really going to be fun. The wheels are just turning on what I'm going to do with that. These cheater prints are fun. Okay, so I've got that and showed you the wide backs already. These are my boxed kits. I'll talk about those in a minute, but let's talk about the sew along quilt. So this is it on the cover. Here's a larger picture of it, and then here's the wide back that I'm going to use. This is called Prairie Meadow, and it's 68 by 85, and that's the quilt along that we're going to be doing with the Prairie fabric. I really wanted to design very traditional quilts with this collection, something that my ancestors would have made. My ancestors were quilters, all of them, even on down, you know, to my mother. And so I do come from a quilting family, and I know that they quilted back then coming across the plains, and when they got here, because they had to, out of necessity. They couldn't just, this was before the railroad was even here, and so they couldn't just you know, buy some fabric. So all their fabric was precious that they brought, and they traded fabric and they made quilts. And so I wanted to do a traditional applique quilt with my Sew Simple shapes that they would have just used scraps for. Maybe for the border, they weren't able to buy, you know, yard goods or anything like that. They just had scraps. And so here are the blocks here. There's 12 blocks in the quilt, and I wanted to show them close up one by one. So I just had to print off and then kind of numbered them. So let's get these centered so I can, so here's block one. So this is actual size of the block. In the quilt, here, let me pull this out and talk to you about that. The 8 backgrounds that I chose, let me do this a little bit closer, you can see, but behind there you can see the squares. There's 16 squares of background that are pieced together that go behind each quilt block. So when I'm showing you these blocks, there's no background behind them. I'm just showing you the applique part of the block. So see, this is block one, here's block one. But you can kind of visualize here what they look like on those shirtings. And so there's block one. And I always like to have a print off of the actual size so that I can, and of course I take them together and then see if I need to make adjustments in scale of fabric and things like that before I finalize the quilt. There's 3. I love making traditional applique blocks, so I'm pretty excited for this sew along. My family room, my home was kind of like my room that I put quilts like this in, meaning it's kind of like my, I don't know if you want to call it pioneer room. And I'll just be adding more things like that. And I love Pioneer Days here in Utah. We have Pioneer Days to celebrate when the pioneers came here in 1847. And so we have the Daisy 4 to 7 or Pioneer Days, whatever you want to call it here, but we're always celebrating and decorating for that. So this fabric collection is kind of another nod to that. What I love about these traditional blocks is I love all the different fabric combinations, and knowing that you could take any block. For instance, we just happen to be on block 10 here. I can take any of these blocks and I can take these fabrics choices instead and switch them back and forth, and it gives it a totally different look, or maybe these lighter colors. And that's what I love about traditional blocks, is you can just really play with shape and color. Okay, so there's 10. There's 11. Man, do I love blue and orange together. I think that's so beautiful. And I love purple and red together, and golds. And here's block 12. So that's what the blocks look like in Prairie Meadow. Excited about that quilt. And then I told you I would show you the boxed boxed kits. So this is, I'll just move that over there. This is Shoe Fly Stars. This is 67 by 80. It will come in this larger box right here, and to match all my other ones. And I just thought that I would, it's all pieced. There's no applique. This is just machine pieced. And then it's got some shoe fly blocks in the corners here. So I thought I would quickly show you what these blocks look like in actual size and close up. So I'm just going to do a quick show. Let's see if we can pull that apart. And you can see in these blocks how the shirtings look with all of these blocks. Love that one. Love them all. Love all the different color combinations. This quilt is different in the fact that each block isn't different. It's the same block over and over again, but by doing different fabric placement, which is something I like to play with a lot, then they look completely different. There's more than 12 blocks in this quilt, but it's fun. I love making the same block, but not the exact same block, if that makes sense. I love making the same block, but doing different fabrics in each one. Because if you know me at all, you know that I love scrappy quilting, and that's why I just never get bored if they're all different. Okay, so there's the last one in that. And again, that's Shoe Fly Stars. It comes in the boxed kits. In the boxed, that works with 10-inch stackers. And then I don't have individual blocks of this, but this takes 5-inch stackers, and this is Wildflowers Runner. This is a pattern I've used over and over again, and I thought it would be really perfect for this to just use a scattering of all of the different shirtings, and then the same print for the centers of the flowers, and then the same print for 4 petals of each flower. And I love how they all look like they're out in the meadow. All right, so those are the quilts in there. Showing you the fabric. We're just going to go through this, showing you those now. And of course, there's always the requirements for the kit here, so you quilt shop owners know, you know, how much to order for your customers, your clients. This sew-along, this fabric will be coming in July. And so basically this exact time of year next year, we'll be working on this sew-along. And it starts, the sew-along, the fabric comes in July, the sew-along starts August 29th on a Monday. We'll be using the Sew Simple Shapes. We'll be using my 16.5-inch trim ruler for the blocks, which the ruler's already available. That's what size these blocks are 16-inch finished. And these are all the supplies, not anything new, that I always use for my Sew Simple Shapes sew-alongs. And these are my Seam So Easy guys. I, of course, will be having new design boards that match Prairie, all in the 7-inch, 10-inch, 14-inch, and 18-inch size. I will have a mug here to match all of my other mugs. I have 4 of my Prairie metal blocks on it. I will have a sewing tin, storage canister, whatever you want to do for treats or whatever. They kind of reminds me, which is why I wanted to do it, of a biscuit tin that my ancestors may have used. And guess what? I actually have a prototype to show you of that. Let me move this out so you can see it. So this is what it's going to look like. This is how large it is. And that's got one of the Prairie Meadow applique blocks on it. And I love that. And it does look like something that my grandmothers, great-grandmothers, and all that would have put, you know, a pound cake in, or biscuits, or cookies. But I'm calling it a sewing tin. And let's see. Then I've got a calendar coming out, and it has 12 blocks in the Prairie Meadow quilt, so I will have a calendar. And I have 2 charms coming out. These are the quilt block. This is the covered wagon. I have, of course, my beekeeper binder. This will be the Beekeeper Prairie binder, and I actually have that prototype here. And that's what that looks like. So this is the same large size as all the other ones that we have gone to. And I did want to point out that I have this on all of my newer products now. I requested that we put these on the labels, and these are QR codes. For those of you who don't know what a QR code is or how to use them, all you have to do is simply put your phone up to it. Your phone has to be like on the camera, but you don't need to take a picture of it. You just, you know, put your phone on the camera like you were going to take a picture, and it automatically just reads that code, and then up will pop up my link tree. And on my link tree will be a list of a link to my blog, to my YouTube channels, to my sew-alongs, to certain things at that time, you know, that are specific to things. And so you can easily find things without having to search all the time for them. So I'm happy that I've got that I could show you. Don't have much of Prairie, of course, to show you because it's not coming out until July, but you know, we have to work way ahead of time. So I do have some things. So this is the crafting paper pad. So this is the back of the pad, what it's going to look like with all the papers and the clip art. And here is the front cover of that pad. And this is what, let me move that so it's not distracting so you can see, but this is what the clip arts are going to look like. I don't know if can you see both of those in the screen at the same time? So I'm excited about that. And I did put 2 quotes from Laura Ingalls Wilder on here. And it is the sweet, simple things of life, which are real ones after all. And again, home is the nicest word there is. And so I'm excited to use these. I have many ideas for those as well. And I will have a needle scissor minder. And yes, you can use it just for the needles, but it's this, you know, it's a larger size like this. This is pretty much actual size. And these are my bigger ones, like my tomato pin cushion and my daisy one. And because I want to be able to put your scissors on there, and I put them on the design board. I put these larger ones not on my fabric as I'm cross stitching, but I put them on my biddy boards and put the magnet on the back of the biddy board. And then I can throw my scissors on there and they're never falling off as I'm working, and my needles and my scissors. So that will be there. And I'm doing a puzzle. And so I'm happy to show you that I actually have a prototype of that as well. And I'm excited about this Prairie Meadow quilt puzzle. And it's a 1,000-piece puzzle again. And this is what the box looks like. The puzzle's in here. So I'm excited about that. And then the last thing that I want to talk to you about and show you are something that I'm introducing as a block of the month. It's an opportunity, a great opportunity as a block of the month for quilt shops. Now there's 6 of these, and so you would run it for 6 months, or you could run it for 12 months if you wanted to. Oh, you know what? I do have one more thing to show you before I explain this. Did I pass up my washi? Oh, I passed up a page. Wait, okay. Back up before, because it's going to take me a minute to talk to you about those quilt seeds. All right, so I totally skipped over the washi. Look how cute that is. That's the washi. That's going to be fun to use. And that's going to make a really fun bookmark too. And then I have a new set of Aurifil, a thread set coming out, because like I said, I have introduced several colors in here, including my plums and things like that. And so this is going to be the small box of 50 weight spools, 10 small 50 weight spools. And so I'm excited about that. And I do have, and I have a bigger picture of this, I have a vinyl zipper pouch bag that's coming out with the backing fabric, and then this big quilted bag. And this, I do have this paper that shows a larger picture of it. You know, my quilted bags that I've had before. I have one out of my Vintage Happy too. And now I'm doing one with that cheater cloth with the covered wagons on it. That's going to be fun. All right, now we talked about that. Now we can go. I was thinking that was the last page. All right, so what I'm doing is introducing these quilt seeds. So what it is 6 patterns, 6 individual patterns. And you can collect all 6 and make projects from them individually. Each flower top is different and each leaf set is different, but they finish at 10 by 10. Each leaf set finishes at 10 by 10. So for instance, you could do the block of the month and put them in these envelopes. And we've purposely made these envelopes to be very nice paper, and they're going to be really fun. I wanted it to look like a seed packet. And this is about the size they're going to be right here. And I wanted it to look like a seed packet because I wanted to be able for you as quilt shop owners to be able to cut the kits from Prairie to go into each one for your block of the month. So you can actually put them inside of this packet, which will be able to be opened on the back and reclosed like an envelope. So there will be like a seed, like an enlarged seed packet. So that's what these look like. This is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and then number 6. And so what I'm saying is you could make your program go 6 months and then decide how you want to put them together, or you could make it go 12 months and maybe put this set of leaves with this flower and vice, just mix up the leaves and flowers and cut them out of Prairie fabrics, but different settings and different ways. So, maybe this one would be a blue flower, or this one have different leaves with it. And so I'll be doing something like that here on my YouTube channel and showing you how I do it. And we'll have a quilt setting available that we can put this together into a quilt, or you could do all 6 into a runner or something like that. But I think it's really going to be fun. And I just wanted to introduce the quilt seeds. Seeds were so very important that our ancestors brought with them across the plains, those who did cross the plains, and they needed to bring the seeds in order to plant their crops. They couldn't, again, just like they couldn't buy fabric, they couldn't buy seeds. So they needed to bring their seeds across in their trunks, in their covered wagons. And so all you need to do with these is just add stitches. The quilt shops will just add fabric, and I think this is going to be really fun. And so that's what I have for coming out in July. I'm super excited about it. And I have 2 more storyboards I want to talk to you about of my basics. And so I'll be right back with those. All right, so I know that I explained in my spring virtual market that I do 2 main collections a year that I do a Sew Simple Shapes with. And those are my main collections, that I do with my cheater cloths and my 42 pieces, prints and things like that. But in between those quarters, I do a basics collection. And so my next one coming out is my Bee Plaids, and it will be available in March. And I just kind of wanted to talk to you about this real quick and show you what we're going to be doing with that. This was the sew along for this quilt right here that I was talking about. So we'll talk about that when we get to that. But here are the prints. And so here are all the plaids. I drew some up new, and some I took from past collections that I've used before and then just recolored. So this is going to be a really fun basics. Now basics means they're evergreen. They will always be in the warehouse, or, if they're on back order or whatever, that just means they're just back ordered. That means they're coming in. They won't be discontinued. So that's going to be amazing to have plaids to go along with my other basics and all of the other Riley Blake basics. And they all work together very well. And I love that they're evergreen and that they're always available for ordering. Now with this, I did 8 backgrounds as well. And these are my little star backgrounds. This is what I did with my Autumn Love. I turned these into backgrounds in 4 different colors. I've got these 2 lattice and 2 crossroads. Okay, and so these are the backgrounds that will go into my, you know, bee backgrounds too as well, because they're basics. And then I've got these 3 wide backs right here, and I love these. And so I wanted to talk to you about what we're going to be doing with this. I'm going to be having a sew along, meaning I'll do at least 1 tutorial or 2 tutorials, and there will be a kit for this. But this, we are using the Farmhouse Star. There will be a pattern for it, but I will be doing tutorials as well, just so you can kind of see, you know, how I do. You know, I'll probably do 1 of each size of block, so you can kind of see how I do that. Now, my Farmhouse Star Sew Simple Shapes have been out for quite a while, and this is what they look like, this package right here. And I use those with my wool. And now I really thought it was going to be perfect to make a quilt. And this is 78 by 78. It's the perfect fall quilt, I think. And I think it's just going to be really fun. So I'm going to be using the Farmhouse Star Sew Simple Shapes, and then my circle rulers, my set that is 8-inch, 10-inch, and 12-inch circles for that. Okay, along with the pattern. And the sew along, like I said, it starts in April, and it's going to be on a Monday as well. And so that's that quilt. I've got a Farmhouse Star charm. I've got a new color, a vintage trim, jade, that we're going to be using for that. And this just shows my Trim It rulers. Let me move that so you can see that. All these Trim It rulers that you can see that, you know, they're not required, but as you know, that if you follow my applique blocks and quilts, I use these for centering and laying out my blocks, but that's all the different sizes of blocks that goes into that quilt. And I use those for all of my quilt blocks. Now, another thing that I thought was going to be fun is these are past boxed kits, ones that came in the 5-inch stacker kits. After they've been out for a year, we do release that pattern about a year after they're out. And so my Acorn Love Table Runner is out. This is one I originally did with Autumn Love, and look how cute it is recolored in the Bee Plaids, meaning Autumn Love is no longer available, but now Bee Plaids are. And so now quilt shops can take this and cut these kits to go along with this pattern right here. So you've got a fun fall quilt. This is my Yes You Can table runner, and this was with my Farm Girl Vintage fabric and originally, and I thought it was great, so I recolored it here in my Bee Plaids. And then this one right here is my Good Morning mug that was done with my Vintage Happy 2, and I think it looks great for fall mugs for, you know, hot chocolate, apple cider, whatever. I think that's great, so I recolored that as well. And so I just wanted to let you quilt shop owners know out there that this is what you can do. You can cut some kits out of these basics and with these patterns available. I do have this, my tall triangle ruler coming out. This is what it looks like. I do have one here I can show you. I don't know, let me get a plain piece of paper, or at least the back of that. See, so you can see what that looks like. This is going to be really fun to do a lot of things with, but one of the things I'm going to be doing is a pattern for this. Plaid Pines. Okay, and that's what these are made from. It's only one ruler. It doesn't have to have several sizes because it just depends on the line that you use on how big your triangles are, but they're tall triangles. And this quilt size is 72 by 80, and it uses all of the backgrounds that I showed you that comes with this collection and all of the Bee Plaids. So I want to give all the quilt shops out there a heads up on that, that's what's coming. And I'll be doing, you know, tutorials for that on here on my channel and showing you how I use that ruler. And then lastly, I know I've talked about this before, but I just want to show you a few things. I've got my chunky thread. I don't have my samples of my 6 new colors coming yet, but I will. But I did want to show you that I have this Remember this granny square mug? It's just like my other one, but now I'm doing a granny square, but here is the prototype for that. And I love these. I love these. So super excited about that. I love how it looks on the denim. So I just wanted to show you what that looks like. And let's slide these in, sis. This is, of course, my chunky thread. I just grabbed 3 colors here off my wall, but this is what my chunky thread looks like, if those of you who have not tuned in. And then we're going to be having the granny square. Let me put it right here. I'll show you the imitation. The granny square along here, and it's going to be starting June 6th. It's also in my chicken salad calendar, and I just wanted to show you, we kind of have a prototype a little bit, or a picture I should say, of what some of these pillows look like with the outside colors, you know, different colors of joining them. But I wanted to show you that I did this one for my trailer. Now this one has 12 squares in it instead of 16, but I just wanted to show you that that's really kind of the real thing, what they look like. I love this. This is fun. And so these are the kind of things that I'll be showing you during our granny square along. Just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Wanted to talk to you about this panel, this home deck panel. It's another bag panel. Will be coming in April, and it's the Happy Crochet bag panel, and this is for one larger bag that you can put all of your chunky threads in for the granny square long, and then it's got a smaller bag here for, you know, your scissors and your crochet hooks and things like that, the little hooked on crochet bag. And so of course, yes, I use my happy zippers with that too, and only 2 zippers though, because, you know, 1 per bag, and you can choose whichever color you want to do with those. And yes, I'll be having a tutorial on making those bags just like I did my other bags. Okay, thank you for sticking with me. If you've stuck with me this long, thank you so very much. I cannot wait till Cookbook comes next month. I'm still right in the middle of Stitch. So excited about that. It's just a pleasure and a joy to be able to design fabric for Riley Blake. And I just appreciate working with them. I appreciate you and all of your support of Riley Blake, and your support of my designs and my sew-alongs, and here on my YouTube channel. Thank you so very much, and I will chat with you later.